Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Today on the healing bench, 16 unwilling victims. D's rusty nuts seized right cock stiff in order to test out how effective PB Blaster, WD, gum out, acetone, and 50-50 Mercon mix. 4 bolts have we per concoction in order to test out how much the reduction in torque is per concoction. That is to say, we're actually going to measure the breakaway torque of each of these bolts and see if any of these does any fucking good at all. Now this is interesting. Old codgers swear by this cheap ATF, automatic transmission fluid, not the other one, sicko, and acetone, but they're not particularly miscible. We see it's more like a milky kind of with so you'd have to mix this up every time. I'm not sure this is going to be particularly effective. As a caveat, however, it is colder than a bronze bidet in here, so that might have something to do with it. March on the frozen shithole of Hoth. Lest the internet send the pitchfork squad, we'll go ahead and read the instrucciones, and this one says, hey, shake the can. So there might be a deal like what's going on with the ATF. Same thing on this one. Listen, they don't care. It also says knock the rust off, the surface rust, so I'm going to do that now with a brush. It says to apply this and then go ahead and have a little break. So what we'll do in order to give ourselves a fighting chance here is we'll be real liberal with it. Don't spare the horses. And we might even apply it twice. Well, no, we'll just apply it the one time. But we'll let her chooch for a while. Ooh, that's kind of gnarly. Peanut buttery looking. Maybe that's why it's called PB Blaster. I wonder if it's peanut oil in acetone. Maybe, eh? And we're going to try with this gum out deep freeze stuff. They got the Loctite variety too. It's probably got butane or something in it, what flashes off at a very low temperature, cools the part down. Then there's some thermal differential, maybe open up some pores or something in order to get the stuff in there better. Have a look, see? Yeah, you can see it boiling right off. Now we got our control in the vise. We're going to see how many millivolts it takes to break free. Of course, this was torqued up slightly over torque at 120 pounds-feet on a 1/2-inch grade 8 national course Forstner. Contact. There we have it. Yielded. Well, broke free rather. We're at 760 max. Murga's favorite libation, WD-40. Some say fish oil, some say water displacement formula 40. I say I got 4 rusty nuts to test. Is test the first. There we go, dropped right off at 800 millivolts. WD-40, test the second. Contact. $940 millivolts. Peak. Dropped right off. 776. 792. Freeze out. You're the next contestant. Like my wife at a tractor pull. Dry as a popcorn fart. I don't have much confidence in this stuff. Doesn't seem to leave any goodness. Any delicious schmoo behind. 752. 860. 852. Oh, now for test the fourth. Now, if this were a high school experiment, we'd throw this data right out the window on this one, because it's an outlier. 700 millivolts, extremely low. Now, PB Blaster with more toxic, more better since 1957. champions of the Rust Belt. I don't know if they've changed the formula, but they used to do things different back in the day. Not a care or concern for any kind of environmental catastrophe or your personal health. So hopefully more toxic, more better. Only one way to find out. First attempt with a PB blaster. She went full pull. Didn't quite crack, just eased into her at 920 millivolts. PB blaster shaping up to be worst of the bunch. 960 millivolts. PB blaster, third tries the charm, question mark. 916 millivolts. Seems to be a pattern developing. PB blaster, #1 selling penetrant, pay for gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Hot college jocks gotta eat too. This thing, for all the good it did, 960 millivolts on this one. We see averaged out to a lot. For all the good it did us, we might as well have smeared peanut butter on the thing. Well, it does have a cult-like following, this red Kool-Aid stuff. I don't think it's for me. Already all separated out. We'll see if it works. Test the first. Say what? 812 millivolts. That ain't tea-bag. I might be partaking of a little red Kool-Aid myself. $868. Still better than PB Blaster. ATF 5050, number 2. Number 3. So long as it's not number 4. If you gotta ask. We are at 592, 600. Coming on up. $868. Seems pretty consistent. That one's quite a bit higher. 916. Still, overall, pretty effective considering it's some sort of witch's cocktail. I'm just gagging for you to have a wee boo at the numbers here. Now, statistically, the sample size of 4 is not significant in order for us to draw any conclusions. However, you got 4 bolts all in, 8 bolts all in a round, and you put WD on 4 of those. You put freeze out on the other 4. The WDs come out easier than the freeze outs. You're gonna anecdotally know what you're gonna buy the next time. You're gonna buy the WD, right? What's that hoary old chestnut? Bikinis have to be applied to the correct data set. I know it's bikinis. Statistics are like bikinis. What they reveal is something, but what they conceal is vital. Oh, to have my entire lifetime condensed down into one dad joke. We should all be so lucky. Okay, so here we are. The WD, I paid $6 for her, and there was one outlier here, 940 millivolts. But other than that, if we didn't have that outlier in there, and we don't know because the rusting might have, there might have been a hard spot, there might have been some, who knows, or maybe it didn't penetrate properly. But the average would have been around 7 something, except for that. So we're at 826 millivolts, $6. Ain't tea-bag. That surprised the living ever shit out of me because I never would have figured that was worth, any fucking good at all. Now the freeze out, $15, expensive, and kind of all over the place. 2 at 860, 852, one low at 700, one low fairly reasonable at 5. So the average was around 800 millivolts, 792. My dyslexia is getting the best of me here. PB Blaster, $9. Ain't worth a pinch of shit. 932. Just it didn't seem like it penetrated. Last but certainly not least, surprising as hell, reasonably effective, and no outliers. It got in there good. Yeah, it worked decent and cheap, like borscht. Not nearly as good as the freeze out or the WD, but the freeze out, so pricey, but it is still far better than the PB Blaster. My takeaway from these tests, and we might change the procedure later on, but PB Blaster ain't worth nothing. Don't even bother. Surprisingly, this ATF 50/50 acetone mix, it actually works. It creeps in there. But there's something to be said for having a petroleum distillate, like a butane or something, as a propellant. That seems to help get the penetrant right in there good. Real thin with the WD, and it got right in there and it stuck around. The gum out, there was nothing left on the bolt, so that was suspect to me. And also, the freeze out here, you can see it's sort of all over the place. It feels to me like it either gets in there and works, or it doesn't work at all. Like it doesn't get in there. And the cost difference, this super pricey, $15 I paid for this, compared to the WD, and it's only marginally more effective. I think if we test again and we get rid of that outlier, that 940 millivolts, that thing was like seized cock stiff, I think the WD would come out on top. So in this test, surprising as it sounds, I think the WD, I never would have fucking guessed this, I think the WD worked better than any of these. If you got a problem with my cromulence here, with my setup, or you got another test you want me to do, you want me to test some other stuff, I did find some of this, but I only had so many bolts, right? So we'll maybe test that the next time. Yeah, comments, questions, concerns, down below me in the doobly-doo. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick in a vice. I never would have thought this was any fucking good at all.